is your documents must go through your university, the various ministries, and the various embassies, especially those for Portugal. Let me talk about this before. You are going to watch the complete video at the extreme end. Okay, I just want to draw your attention to the fact that when you are applying for visitor's visa, you have to put a lot of things into consideration. Remember, it takes time to convert this. And I will not even advise you, because at the end of the day, if you carry your own money to spend on accommodation, it's going to be a whole lot. Paying Airbnb, for how long are you going to pay that? So look into this. Now, the advantage will be if you have somebody who can host you in Canada until you struggle and convert your visa, then that is fine. Excellent. Use the visitor's visa. But however, if you get the visa and you have money when you are still back home, I will advise you to apply again for a student visa. It's not a problem, but the problem is if you use the visitor's visa and go in, how much do you have to pay for Airbnb? There will be no landlord who is willing to give you accommodation if you don't have SIN number. This is one of the problems. Now, if you don't have accommodation, you are forced to pay Airbnb or hotels, and before you know, your money is finished and you have not yet converted your visa. It's not going to be an easy ride. So this advice is for people who can really think and strategize. I always say strategize before you move, because it's very essential in this jackpot thing. Hello people, welcome back to our channel, and thank you so much for joining today. So today's video, without wasting a lot of time, we are going to be talking about the issues that are arising. First, I will discuss about two things that concerns your education in Canada. Then the second one, I will talk about some issues of visitors visa. But first, let's talk about this issue with the studies in Canada. So I didn't want to talk about this, but it looks like a lot of people are not getting it. I understand most of us, we do not have money. Before I proceed, let me introduce myself. My name is Milton. Thank you. I'm equally called the chairman of the broke community. Thank you so much. Now, please like this video, and also don't forget the subscribe button. The subscribe button. The way I'm doing, finger it immediately. Thank you so much. So there are things we need to know. Remember, one thing before you apply for Canada visa is they have a centralized platform. They call it IRCC. This particular country you want to apply to is a developed country. Things are not done the way they are done in Africa. Am I driving to? There is a case, someone was asking me if he moves into Canada, he can equally drop school, then work, since his main aim is just to work. Bro, look, I always say it, and I will always advise people, if you have a chance to study in Canada, because at the end of the day, it's going to be like, it will reward you. You are going to benefit a lot if you study in Canada. This is the reason. You know, most of us in Africa, when we study, at the end of the day, maybe you study mathematics, tomorrow you are teaching physics, or you study nursing, and tomorrow you are a primary school teacher. You study chemistry, and before you know, you are somewhere working as a banker. That is how it is for us in Africa, if you are even lucky to get a job. But in Canada, that's not the way it is. If you study something, know that you are going to work within that field. If you study nursing, you are going to be a nurse. If you study maybe IT, you are going to be in that particular field, not like you study something else. This is the reason. If you have the opportunity to study in Canada, it's going to help you, because at the end of the day, it's going to give you a certificate, and that certificate now, with your experience, little or petty experience or internship possibilities you already have in this country, it can increase your ranking, and before you know, you are somewhere working, because this is a country of law. Now, why did I come here? A lot of people are saying that they want to move to Canada. At the end of the day, they drop the program and they work. Bro, it doesn't work that way. Okay, now, there are things I want you to put into consideration. Remember, you are moving in as a student, right? Because maybe you want to someday bring in your family. Now, your intention is you have to finish your school, and there are due processes you have to follow. When you finish school, the next step is you have to get what is called Pgwp, which is postgraduate work permit. When you get that postgraduate work permit, you have to work for some time. Then when you work for that time, you now gain that experience. While you are working, you are preparing to apply for PR, which is permanent residency. This is how the track record is. Then from PR, now after 3 years, you are applying for citizenship. Now that is in the case you are a student or you go in as a worker. Now if you go in through this means, let's assume that you go in as a student and later on you drop the school. You are not dropping the school because you finished the program. You drop the school because you don't have money to pay, or maybe you don't want to pay, or maybe you don't want to go again, you want to just work. Somebody may be advising you to do that. you may not know the implications. One thing I want to tell you is that if you finally drop the program, it is going to be a very big problem on your own end. This is the problem. When you have to finish the program, right? You have to finish the program and, of course, get what is called Pgwp. That is one thing. Now, at the end of the day, if you finish the program, you would get the Pgwp. But what if you drop the program? Instead of you to attend lectures, you are not attending lectures. To go to class, you cannot go. It means that at the end of the day, even if whatsoever happens, you will never get Pgwp because they are going to look into your file. Even if you manage to get it, how are you going to get it? Because all these things you are doing the application on IRCC. How do you intend to get it when you didn't study? So if you drop the program, it is going to be difficult for you to get the Pgwp. You will not be able to get it because you need to use your certificate to apply for it. I hope you understand. Now, the next one you need to get is PR. At the end of the day, how do you intend to get PR? Because it is a stage. You have to use your certificates, use your work experience to go to the pool to get the PR. Now, you cannot get it because you didn't graduate. And that is a whole lot of issues for you as an international. At the end of the day, the dreams will be shattered because nobody is going to give you anything. This is facts I'm telling you, so you have to put all this into consideration. So before moving, make sure you prepare yourself that in case you arrive there, you are going to do 1 or 2, study the program, then at the end of the day, you apply for all these things I just mentioned. They are very important. Put this into consideration. Now, the other part is when you use the visitor sticker to move in. That's the visa. Of course, remember, this visa is not a short stay visa, but maximum you can stay in there is 6 months. Now, you have to change it to other categories to be legal. One thing a lot of people do not know is that they think that they can work with it. It's not true. Now, the people who are helping them are not equally telling them the truth. But one thing I want you to understand, when you use this and go in there, you are going to be staying in a hotel or staying with a family member. No landlord is going to be willing, even if they want to give you accommodation, very few of them. Most of them will not accept to give accommodation because they are not sure if you are going to pay the next rentage. You understand? So in this case, you need a lot of money in order to carry out this process. That is why I was telling somebody who came to me for advice a few days back that if he has the right, or maybe if he has an opportunity to get money to do this application, let him do it with immediate effect and avoid this visitor section, because at the end of the day, you may not have all the money to be paying for hotel, paying for Airbnb, and before you know, your money is finished, you are stranded, you have not converted the visa to the working visa. Maybe now the other option is the study visa. You may not be able to convert it because maybe you still don't have funds to apply for the visa. You understand? So things like this, they disturb a lot. That's why I always tell people that make sure you strategize, look into your finance, strategize, look into your money, think of other possibilities. If you have a family in there, I can advise you to go. Or if you have a lot of money and have a strategy, you can use it. It's even possible now for you to apply for study permit instead. When you go in, there are videos and we have been talking about here. So make sure you strategize well to know what you are really looking into. It is going to be a whole lot of hurdles, but again, if you strategize well, look for your finances, you are good to go. I hope this will help somebody. Always remember that the target is school, Pgwp, PR, and citizenship. So this is how the transition is going to look like. You cannot skip one and go to the next, and you are going to be using your certificates to get Pgwp. After that, you use Pgwp document and your certificate to get PR. Okay, to end this video, I just want to draw your attention to the fact that many schools in Switzerland are going to open their portals very soon. And I think admissions to Swiss universities is going to start January. Remember, if you want to apply to Switzerland, you should remember that there are cantonal universities, there are universities of applied sciences, there are equally teacher training universities, and there are federal universities. All these universities, none of them goes above 1,500. Some are below 900, some 1,250, and the others 1,300, 800, some even. Just make sure you follow those videos. Check universities like University of Lugano, University of Bern, University of Geneva, ETS Zurich. These are some of the schools you should be checking. University of Neuchâtel, University of Freiburg. There are a lot of them in Switzerland. Check these schools and apply from January 2024 because their tuition is cheap. Now, remember, schools in Austria will equally start next year as well, and Austria tuition is very cheap as well. But before you apply to all these countries, make sure you pay attention to one thing: proof of funds. Proof of funds is very heavy in most of these countries, so I'm just here to explain to you so that you understand what you are going to be doing at the end of the day. Then another thing you should remember is that the process of getting visa to Malta has changed. You are going to watch a full video on my YouTube channel. And again, remember, visas to Lithuania now, not visas anyway, residence permits or permits to Switzerland, to Lithuania are gotten from Dubai, Lebanon, or Jordan. So you are not going again to Egypt. For those who didn't know, maybe from January next year, things will change. So I'm going to be updating you depending on what is available. And again, do not forget that proof of funds is very important. There are very low tuition countries in Europe, but the issue is you need to show that you have money to study in these countries, and I'm going to be explaining a lot of things to you guys. I hope this helps you.